Well, hello scrappers, Mike here, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of the third segment of easy gold recovery from gold-plated electronic waste. It's a little complicated, part 2 of the third segment. Well, we had some issues which prevented me from getting this all done in part 1. And, well, it did not rain today. The water, well, it's receded some. It's still very wet everywhere. I have to kind of wade out here. But at least it's not raining at the moment. So, okay. So what am I doing here? Well, we'll do a quick review of part 1. I had a whole bunch of scrap gold-plated IC chips. I crushed them up in my Mighty Mill, mining ore crusher. I took the resulting powder and I treated it with poor man's nitric acid and dissolved most of the base metals out of it. Then I treated what was left with aqua regia, and then I dropped the gold out of the aqua regia. And this is what we've got over here. We've got a nice little layer of gold on the bottom of this beaker. That's the first gold drop. Okay, I haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting here for days. Days and days now. Okay. But when I was dealing with the leftover solids from the extractions, I was looking at it and thinking, I think there's still gold in here. I don't think my first gold extraction dissolved at all. So I did a second one. I took all the solids, put them back in another beaker, put some aqua regia on it, cooked them in aqua regia. Okay. Then, Mother Nature, all hell broke loose, and this is just sat here sitting for like the better part of a week. Okay. Now, this stuff has been sitting in aqua regia for, a long time now, but I'm not going to repeat the mistakes of the past. I want to make sure I've got all of the gold dissolved out of the layer of mud on the bottom of that beaker. So I've reheated this stuff. I've heated it up again, warmed it up. I've added a little bit of extra muriatic acid to it, a little bit of extra sodium nitrate to it, re-strengthen the poor man's aqua regia in here. And I've been just agitating the heck out of it every chance I get to make sure it's well stirred. And I want to make sure we get all of the gold that's left in that mud in solution this time. So that's what I've been doing. So we're going to let this cook for a little while longer. Next up, I want to deal with this stuff. I want to recover the gold that's in there and set it aside out of harm's way. And then once we get the gold from this, we'll add it to it. We'll clean it all up, we'll dry it all out, and then we'll get a weight and see if we can calculate a yield on, I think it was 256 grams of IC chips, if I remember correctly. I'd have to review the footage from part 1. I think that's what we had. So maybe we can calculate a yield then. I think there's a fair amount of gold here. I really do. Between these two extractions, I think we're going to get a fair amount of gold. So let me get set up to deal with this stuff. As usual, since it's fine gold, I don't want to disturb it, get it mixed up in the liquid column again. What I will do is I will siphon the liquid off very slowly, very carefully and deliberately, and then we'll deal with the gold once it's free of the liquid it's in. So let me get set up for that while this continues to cook. All right, so I'm going to siphon as much of this liquid off of this fine gold as I can. I don't want to risk sucking too much of it up with the siphon tube, though, so I'll probably leave a little bit of it in there. I'm going to siphon this liquid directly into my temporary stock pot over here. As per my usual method. Any fine gold that does come over is a lot easier to recover from this temporary stock pot than from my main one. And sooner or later I'm going to have to process this thing again because it's getting a layer of stuff on the bottom. Sure, there's a lot of gold there. Maybe some palladium from all my processing of Joven's palladium plated strips. I'll probably speed this up. It's going to take a while. Well, if you're wondering what I keep looking at up here, I got wasps building nests in my lighting system. I'm going to have to take care of them, obviously. Or it's only a matter of time, I suppose, before I get stung. The joys of working outdoors. Okay, that's about as much liquid as I dare take off of that. I will give you a look at the gold here in just a second. Clean up my siphon toes. And I'll give you a look at what we got in the beaker so far. Okay, there's the gold. Looks like a fairly decent amount by the way it's moving around down there. Yeah. There's some stuck to the sides of the beaker too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this stuff to a smaller beaker and put some distilled water on it and just set it aside. And I'll wait until I get the rest of the gold in the other beaker in the fume hood, and we'll combine it all together and then do some cleanup boils on it, dry it out, and weigh it. Okay, so let me get this transferred and then get to work on the stuff in the fume hood. So here's the gold we've got so far. I set that out of harm's way. I want to spill it. And then here's the liquid from the second extraction. I'm going to vacuum filter it. I like the color. It's a lot better than the last time around. It's not lime green Kool-Aid colored like the first batch. However much gold this contains should be somewhat cleaner gold, I think, than we got the first time around. All right, so let me get started on this filtration because it will probably take a while. Once the solid stuff in the bottom gets into the filter, this will no doubt will slow down to a crawl. And I do have other stuff I need to do today, so. And for a change, it's a nice day. Very low chance of rain in the forecast. Not sure I'm believing it. The radar shows a lot of rain to the north of us, but any luck at all, it won't head south. I can get some stuff done today. Some great outdoors. Alright, so we're going to let this filter coming through nice and clean. Nice and clear. Perfectly clear. Alright, excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we'll let this filter. I'll get the solids up here when I get all the liquid through, and I'll run a bunch of distilled water over them to get the pregnant solution out of them. I'll look through it really good with my loupe again to make sure I don't see any gold left in it. Be really surprised if there's any gold left in it after 2 extractions, especially since this has sat in aqua regia for about a week now. But I'll look anyway, and I'll give you a look at it too. All right, so I've had a bit of a look through this stuff in here. There is yellow stuff in it, but it's not gold. I mean, that's not the right color for gold. There's a lot of bits of yellow ceramic in here, and almost yellow ceramic, sort of yellow-green, in with the purple and the white. But I don't see anything this time around that even remotely looks like it's actually gold. So I think we got it this time. Yeah. Although I am thinking about, when I process IC chips like this, I am thinking about just throwing all of the remains from the process in a bucket and letting it build up, and then maybe, you know, once I have, you know, a decent amount in the bucket, doing one last extraction on it. You know, maybe I get a little bit of gold out of it. It's a thought. Let me know what you think of that idea. Leave a comment. Let me know if you do that, if you process IC chips. Anyway, I'm going to run a little bit more distilled water over this stuff. Make sure I get the pregnant solution out of it. Then I will pour this liquid in this now clean beaker over here. And we'll get it back in the fume hood. We'll get some SMB on it, and we will drop the gold out of it. So I will meet you in the fume hood once this is done dripping. And we'll make us some more gold. Alright, let's see if we can drop some more gold here. Get the fume hood going. And in goes some sodium metabisulfite, which we get from Stump Out by Boney. There are other stump removers on the market, but they don't have sodium metabisulfite in them. That's what you need to drop gold. Sodium metabisulfite, you'll find it in Stump Out. Don't waste your money on the lab grade stuff or the food grade stuff. Just get this. It works great. A couple of spoonfuls of that in there. One more for good measure, though I think the color is fading, but we'll put one more in for good measure. And yes, there we go. We're getting a second gold drop. Look at it darken up before our very eyes. Okay. Close the door. Keep those nasty sulfur dioxide fumes in there. All of the fume hood's doing a good job of pulling them out with just one side open. All right. So we're getting the gold drop. We're just going to let this sit and give it enough time. Hours to a day, all that gold's going to wind up on the bottom of the beaker. And then it'll be a repeat of what we did earlier. Then I'll have all the gold from there. I'll take it and I'll put it in there. Then we'll have all the gold together. And we can proceed from there. So we're just going to let this sit and settle. See how long it takes. This ought to be somewhat cleaner than the first time around. It might settle quicker. And then as for the solids that I took out of the Buckner funnel there, as promised, I am going to start collecting them and saving them. I've got them in this temporary container right here, this steel bowl, until I can find a good bucket to throw them in and keep a lid on them so they don't get contaminated with too much stuff. But yeah, I'm going to start accumulating my IC chip debris, I think, and then once I get, 5-10 pounds of it, maybe do one last big scale extraction on it and see if I can get any more gold. Probably not a bad idea. Okay, let's get back to the gold that's dropping, see how it's doing. Well there, I hope you can see how this is starting to clear. It's been maybe 10 minutes, maybe not even that long, just long enough for me to clean up the workbench and the glassware and whatnot, and I come back and it's clearing up fast, a whole lot faster than the first drop. So that tells me this is much cleaner gold. Clean gold drops fast. It doesn't stay as like a colloidal suspension in the liquid. It just gets the heck out of the liquid. So that's a good sign. And it looks like, yeah, it's building up on the bottom of the beaker. So good. We're getting a good second gold drop. So just going to let this continue to go, and I'll continue to clean up, and we will deal with this later. Well, all right, that has settled out quite nicely. Look how clear the liquid is, and also notice the lack of greenness to that liquid. I think we got rid of the iron and copper and other base metals the first time around. This second gold drop, much cleaner. I bet we got some much cleaner gold down here. Okay, so let me set up to siphon the liquid off of this stuff, and then I could combine it with this stuff, and we can clean it all up. All right, looking good. Okay, so here we go. We're going to siphon this stuff one more time. And we'll have all of our gold then. Okay. I won't make you watch the whole thing this time. We'll just skip ahead. And I'll show you what the gold on the bottom of the beaker looks like when I'm done. Okay, here's a look down in the beaker. Here's our second batch of gold. My goodness, that looks like a pretty thick coating down there. Yeah. You did pretty good the second time around. Okay, so I'm going to add it to what's in this beaker from the first time around. We'll give it some cleanup boils and distilled water. Then we'll dry out the gold and see what it weighs. See if we can calculate a yield. Alright, so let me get started here. Alright, all the gold is in here. It's got a centimeter or so of distilled water over it. It's heating up. I'm going to give it a boil. Notice all the gold has settled right to the bottom already. That is just a wonderful thing, and I hope that once it comes to a boil, that is still the case. I want to see the gold staying on the bottom, not mixed in the water column. That'll tell me it's good gold. It's not going to give me a lot of trouble. So we'll see. Okay, we'll bring it up to a boil, and I will drain that water off and give it at least 2 more boils. And I will filter the water I drain off of it through a funnel with a filter in it, so I will capture any fine gold that comes over so I don't lose it. And then once I've given it 3 boils and drained the water off, we'll just dry out the gold, and then we'll be able to weigh it. So just waiting on the hot plate now. Hopefully I can get this all done before the rain starts in an hour or 2. We'll see. All right, the last boil going on, the last of 3. I'm really happy with the way the gold is behaving. It just, take it off the heat, it just lays right back down on the bottom of the beaker. Very little of it is coming over in the rinse water into the funnel. So I'm very happy about that. What little is coming over, I'm catching on that filter, but there's not much. So I'm going to pull this off here in a second, drain the rinse water off, and we'll start drying it out. Okay, there's our gold. Gonna dry it out. You can get a weight on it today. All right, that looks like some really good gold too. I'm very happy with the color. I'm very happy with how it stays agglomerated together in the bottom of the beaker. This is looking like some good clean gold, and it's also looking like a fair amount. I don't think we're gonna have any trouble weighing this. Okay, so we get it dried out, and we will give it away and see just how much we got here. All right, time to finally see just how much gold we've got here. Get it all together. Some of it's stuck to the side of the beaker here. It looks like a respectable amount. Yeah. Okay. Let's get my scale going here, and we will weigh this up. Come on, everybody out. .16 grams it's looking like. That is not too shabby. There's still a little bit in here. Yeah, 3.17 grams. Okay, that's not too shabby. Let me do a little quick math here. We had 256 grams of original material. So 3.17 grams divided by 256 grams of original material equals 1.2% gold by weight. That is pretty darn good yield, especially considering those were all ceramic chips and really, really heavy. Still, there was 1.2% gold in there by weight. That's pretty good return. Hey Stan, if you ever want to send me more of those chips, I'm all for it. I'm your man. Go ahead. Well, there we are. we got a result. Finally, Mother Nature let us do it. And it's a pretty darn good result. I'm happy with that. If you guys are happy, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, give the whole series a like and a thumb up. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.